Should you apply for a green card if you don't plan to live in the US? Hi everyone, today I'm going to answer a question we hear all the time, but one that is often misunderstood. I'm not planning to live in the US, but can I still apply for a green card? I don't intend to reside in the US permanently, but would it make sense to get a green card just in case? This topic comes up especially among people who don't want to live in the US long term, but think maybe I'll need it someday. It can stay in my pocket. But this decision has far more serious consequences than most people realize. Hi, my name is Remzi Kulen. I'm an immigration attorney with more than 20 years of experience. A lot of people think they can get a green card just to have it, even if they won't live in the US. But that decision can create serious problems later. In this video, I will explain what a green card actually means, the risks of holding a green card without actually living in the US, the truth about the re-entry permit, tax responsibilities of green card holders, the impact on future citizenship, practical and psychological challenges of having a green card but not living in the US, and finally, smarter alternatives if you aren't ready to move to the US. Do not apply for a green card before watching this video. Let's start with what a green card actually means. A green card gives you the right to live and work in the United States permanently. And the law is very clear. A green card holder is considered someone who has chosen the United States as their permanent residence. In practice, that means you must maintain genuine ties to the US. You cannot live outside the US indefinitely. Long absences can be interpreted as abandonment of your status. For tax purposes, you are treated as a US tax resident, meaning you must report your worldwide income. A green card is not something you get and keep just in case. It is a commitment to living in the United States to become a US citizen in the future. So if you don't plan to live in the US, a green card is a risky choice. Many people think, I won't live in the US, but I'll get a green card and hold on to it. Unfortunately, that approach might be wrong and often creates bigger problems. And the risks are real. First of all, risk of losing your status. If you stay outside of the US for more than 1 year, a CBP officer may say, this person doesn't actually live in the US and may try to challenge your green card status at the airport. The second risk is the tax obligations. If you don't live in the US, you must still report worldwide income to the IRS as a US tax resident. The third risk is being questioned on future entries. A CBP officer may ask, if you don't live in the US, why did you get a green card? Why don't you get a tourist visa and come to the US as a tourist? The fourth risk is it can break your citizenship timeline because absences over 6 months cause a break in continuous residence, and absences over 1 year can reset your entire citizenship clock. And also, you may risk losing your green card. The fifth risk is misusing a green card can actually harm future visas. If the government believes you used the green card incorrectly, future visa applications may become more difficult. This is especially important if you don't actually give up the green card yourself, but the green card has been taken away from you by the US government. That may create a problem for future visa applications as well. You shouldn't forget that a green card is not an insurance. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings. I'll get a green card now and maybe I'll use it someday. But a green card is not an insurance policy. It is a legal status that requires active maintenance, and misusing it may create problems. When the US gives you a green card, the assumption is this person intends to make the United States their home. If you don't actually live in the US, the system sees this as failing to meet that commitment. Let's talk a little bit about the re-entry permit. Re-entry permit allows you to stay outside of the US for an extended period of time when you have the green card, but it is not the complete shield people think it is. Many people believe I'll get a re-entry permit and stay outside the US for 2 years, no problem. Here's the truth. A re-entry permit is valid for 2 years. Yes, it can be extended for another 2 years and maybe after that in 1 year increments, but you still have responsibilities as a green card holder. For example, it does not remove tax obligations. It does not justify living abroad for a long term unless you renew the re-entry permit. In reality, re-entry permit is a temporary convenience, not a long-term solution. Having said that, if you have plans to move to the US, but you want some personal matters to be taken care of in your home country, re-entry permit is a good solution to keep your green card for a longer period of time. Tax responsibilities is another critical point. A green card holder is considered a US tax resident even when living abroad. This means you may be required to report all worldwide income, report foreign bank accounts, disclose foreign investments or business ownership. File annual US tax returns. Even if a tax treaty protects you from double taxation, it does not remove your US reporting obligations. For someone not living in the US, these tax burdens can become a major unnecessary risk. Therefore, especially for high net income individuals, I always advise these clients to get a consultation with a CPA, a certified public accountant in the United States who knows about international taxation, and see what they are risking by getting a green card. If their financial risks are high, if they are going to be subject to high taxes, different solutions may be found for them. You have a green card, you cannot stay in the US very long. How does it affect your future citizenship application? To become a US citizen, you must show continuous residence in the US, physical presence in the US, strong ties to the US, and if you live outside the US for extended periods, USCIS will ask, does this person really intend to live in the United States permanently? For many people, long absences completely reset or disqualify their citizenship eligibility. What about psychological and practical challenges? Most people don't talk about it, but I see it all the time. Green card holders who don't live in the US often experience anxiety at every airport entry. Will they question me? Constant pressure to plan US visits so that they can maintain their green cards. Fear of losing their green card status. Tax filing stress every year. Confusion about whether they must eventually move. And after a while, if you experience these things constantly, many people will end up saying, I wish I had never applied for a green card. So you need to figure out whether applying for a green card is a good option for you. So does that mean you should never apply for a green card? Not necessarily. In some specific situations, it can make sense. For example, your child plans to study or live in the US long term, or you have a long-term business or investment plan, or you need to get a social security number, or maybe you are building an immigration strategy for your family, or you might relocate to the US in the next 1 to 4 years. In such cases, with proper legal strategy, a green card might be the best option. But for someone who does not intend to live in the US at all, a green card is generally not the right path. What are some of the better alternatives to green card if you don't plan to move to the US? Some of these options include E1 treaty visa, E2 investor visa, B1, B2 visitor visa, where you can handle most of your business and visitor needs with a tourist visa, O1 extraordinary ability visa, L1 intra-company transferee visa, F1 student visa, especially for children for long-term planning, but it could also be used for parents. You can own a US company but not work for it with the correct immigration structures such as B1 and B2 visa. So these are more flexible, less risky, and they don't come with heavy green card obligations because they are non-immigrant visas. But you shouldn't forget that you should comply with the terms and conditions of each non-immigrant visa as well. So to summarize, a green card is for people who want to live permanently in the US. If you have plans for it, you better start early. If you don't plan to live in the US, a green card can create more risks than benefits because it comes with serious obligations also. Tax, travel, residence, and future citizenship application. In many cases, alternative visas are smarter and safer. Before applying, always speak with an immigration attorney and sometimes also with a CPA to understand the tax responsibilities. Because strategy must be tailored to your life and your goals. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Please leave your questions in the comment section. I will answer each question as much as I can.